understand the facts and figures on the ground in relation to the amendment and, of course, Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Well, David Makali, you have a guest. Tell us more.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
So, this looks like a serious assault on the Constitution, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah.
That is going to take away the defenses against abuse of public office that we all legislated in 2010, or what would you say?
Thank you, David. It is indeed, it has serious implication, especially for us, particularly to deal when it comes to fight against corruption. Just as it's been enumerated by Mwakazi.
Yes.
There are several implications, and those implications have serious consequences when it comes to dealing with the corruption in this country. Currently, as we are speaking, there is the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2013, which was gazetted in July 12th of this year. That bill is supposed
At what stage, first, before even you look at the content of that bill,
yes,
at what stage is that bill? And can the public intercept it or do anything about it?
Yes, the bill, first the bill is at the parliamentary committee stage, so the Parliamentary Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. Then at this level, the members of the public, yes, have a window. They have a window to still engage the parliamentary committee on what they think are the best proposals to go into the bill. That is if the bill is to live to be enacted into law.
Into law, yes.
But the window is not as big as it is. Yes, the window is not as big as it is.
So people have to write to members of that committee. They can do petitions to Parliament directly to that committee.
Exactly.
Are there opportunities at this point for them to appear before that committee to listen to the proposals?
Yes,
and give their views.
Yes, Makali, there is still that opportunity for members of the public to get time, write petition or memorandum to the Parliamentary Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs, and give their views, especially on matters touching on the proposed bill.
Yes.
Again, the bill, members of the public still have a small opportunity that when the bill, small. That when the bill leaves the Parliamentary Committee to be discussed at the House, they still have an opportunity to lobby.
With the members of Parliament.
Lobby with their members of Parliament from wherever they are, from homes, from your home, from your villages, all other institutions who are of the opinion that this bill is not good as in its current state. You still have the opportunity to lobby with your members of Parliament, so that this bill can still be amended in the floor of the House to reflect the progresses of the gains in the Constitution.
Okay, now let's come to the specifics of the bill.
Yes.
And what the views of TI, Transparency International, are, the substance of the bill.
Yes, Makali, one, I wouldn't want to discuss the specifics before I let members of the public know what are some of the rationale behind the bill. The sponsors of the bill says that the rationale of the bill is, one, to improve checks and balances between the three arms of government. Yes. That is the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary.
Right.
That is rationale number one. And that is properly in their memorandum of objects of the bill.
Yes.
Number two, they are saying that this bill will enhance efficient service delivery and independence of the arms of government. Now, those are the objectives of this amendment bill.
Yes.
Now, if you look at those objectives, David, I will tell you that those ones are just quoted in a constitutional parlance
language
to hoodwink the public. Yes, it's not true. Because the way the state officer is defined in Article 260 has got nothing to do with interference with the checks and balances of these three arms of government.
All right, we'll go back. We'll go to the substance in a short while. First, let's get back to Mwakazi.
Right.
You know, you asked whose responsibility is it to fight corruption, and we need to listen to that.
Absolutely. Many thanks, because you know the previous times we've been talking about the blame game. People saying, you know what, there's no way we can actually fight corruption. It's really a problem. But today we want to focus on a more objective point of view. Who is responsible in the fight against corruption? Now, we spoke to different people across the country, and this is what they had to say.
Ufisadi unafanyika katika pande zote mbili. Ikiwa ni ufisadi kuhusu mambo ya hongo, ni mwenye kutoa na mwenye kupokea, na hii imezorotesha sana huduma katika nchi. Katika mambo ya hospitali, katika mambo ya kielimu, katika mambo ya usalama, yote hiyo imechangia.
Huwezi kulaumu serikali.
Hili jukumu ni la wananchi pamoja na serikali.
Vijana wako hawatekelezi yale yanaopendeza, basi wa kulaumiwa huwa ni mzazi kawaida kwa nyumba. Kwa hivyo viongozi wetu ndio tutawalaumu.
Kama tunataka tuangamize ufisadi, ni lazima sisi wote tuungane pamoja kama Wanakenya tumalize ufisadi.
Kupunguza ufisadi ni kuachia viongozi wa dini.
Ni jukumu letu, mimi na wewe, tusaidiane ili tuweze kuangamiza hiyo ufisadi, tuweze kusimamisha.
All right, so those are some of the views coming from different parts of this country, and some of the messages coming in. This is somebody saying here, Mwakazi, my name is Johnson Michael. I reside in Kibera. Corruption, in my opinion, is the system that has failed. I blame the system. I was in an office where I needed services, and there was nobody to tend to me. There was no supervisor to send my complaint to. I forced myself to ask, but nobody was willing to attend to me. Therefore, it is the system. Looking at Carolina Congo says, you and I should fight corruption. Another one says the Constitution should embrace the anti-corruption spirit. Akwata from Kisumu says, fighting corruption is every citizen's responsibility. Shem Omambia from Kisii says, corruption can be fought and won by me and you. It starts with me and you. We have another one here. Everybody of us must fight corruption and not practice it. If you need something in an office, they need kidogo. If nobody gives it, we'll stop it. Nungu from Kibwezi says, it's me and you. David Makali, today at least people are agreeing to the fact that it's you and I that
taking
need to be
responsibility.
In the forefront. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perhaps you were continuing on with a very
you see, people, the public is very engaged with this fight, but most of the time the question is, where do you go? How do you intervene? How do you bring your feeling to bear? But we'll get back to how they can, for example, input their contribution into this bill that is headed to passage unless we do something. Now, I would like to direct you to focus on the content of that amendment, so that we can also get the public to appreciate the gravity of what is coming that they may not know.
Okay. Thank you. The content of the amendment, one, there is a feeling in the bill, a feeling that is cutting across the proposed amendment bill, that Parliamentary Service Commission is supposed to be handling matters that concern members of Parliament. That members of Parliament, subject to the functions or mandate of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, makes them so weak and makes them amenable to these constitutional commissions. So again, it's a small. In fact, the content of the bill is a small one.
It's very small.
Very small.
It is basically
4 pages.
4 pages. The clauses, the proposed amendments are basically how many? 3, right?
Yes, and they are saying that the amendment does not have an impact on the wage bill. to mean that the wage bill is not going to go up because of the amendment. But that is wrong. And that is why I want to give some of the implications of this amendment. Because when they're saying that the wage bill will not go up, and then, one, the provisions of Article 210 of the Constitution, talking about the imposition of tax, now, the moment members of parliament ceases to be state officers, then they will be very free
to set
their own terms in terms of salaries and allowances.
You don't think they'll set them lower than? Why do you think they'll definitely go up?
Obviously, Makali, it's an open secret that this bill came into existence immediately after that.
Out of frustration
between
with the CRC, SRC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, we are talking about wage bill not being bloated. Wage bill will be bloated because again, they will be very free because they are not state officers to set the allowances and salaries.
You know, let me ask you, one will argue that it's not just, of course, apart from the elected leaders, the 5 cadres of elected leaders who are going to be removed from the category of state officers, they have included the judiciary as well.
Exactly.
Is it just to hoodwink the rest, or there perhaps is more motivation why they need to remove these people from being state officers, therefore subject to the SRC and other bodies that check, such as corruption, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission?
My opinion on that is that if you look at the way the proposed amendment is done in a manner that, one, it pleases the judiciary. 2, it pleases the members of the county assembly, so that there is no resistance. Yeah?
When the bill is finally enacted, the judiciary will not fight it because they're also beneficiaries of it.
Exactly.
Okay, let's hear what the public thinks. Amakazi.
All right, many thanks, David Makali. There's a caller online. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Many thanks. So who do you think is responsible for the fight against corruption?
Or he wants to make a different contribution to our discussion. Go right ahead.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Me, I'm calling from Mandera.
Yes.
My name is Ismail Ahmed. Hello.
Yes, Ahmed. We can hear you.
Kwa hivyo niko Mandera, nilikuwa na shida ambaye nimevamua nyumba yangu na askari wa polisi. Alafu nikapelekwa kotini kwa kusema ati nimeincite. Nimeincite bibi yangu kwa askari. Kwa hivyo nimepelekwa jela. Nimepelekwa jela, alafu from there nikaona hii sasa hapa hakuna haki. Nikaenda appeal high court. After appealing high court sasa walipatia death na kutransfer case yangu kwa high court Garissa. Nilikuja Mandera, niliserve your documents. The same court ya Mandera ilitoa warrant ya kunishika. Nikawekwa ndani. So my lawyer again apply kwa counsel ile tulitransfer tena the same judge amemshika mimi.
Yes.
So nikawachiliwa tena, nikapeleka kotini Mandera. Sasa aliniambia, nikatamiza, akaniambia zungumza. The same court ananiambia instead of anasomea ile kichaji ambaye amenishikia, ananiambia mimi niseme. Sasa niseme nini walishika? Na mimi nisiko hapa, I've appeared myself in Garissa court.
Kwa hivyo wewe unaona kumekuwa corruption katika kesi yako?
Sasa corruption iko mahali zote.
Okay.
Na Willy Mutunga alijaribu kupigana na corruption, sasa yeye anapigwa.
Ile kesi yako inatakana uipeleke kwa Judicial Complaints Committee. Kuna kamati ambayo inashughulikia complaints ya watu ambao hawajaridhika na jinsi wametumikiwa na koti na idara ya mahakama, ama kwa ofisi ya public ya ombudsman.
Idara ya mahakama kwangu yake ambayo wamejaribu. Lakini bado inaonekana sasa kuna vitu zingine sawa pia wanatokorwa kabisa.
Okay. Sawa, tumempata. Anafikiri shida yake ni ya corruption ya judiciary, lakini akielekeza huko nafikiri kuna hotline ya judiciary.
judiciary.
Takana ya kupiga complaints.
Yeah. And in terms of just sending your comments, remember you can call us. The number is 0719777777. We're talking about leadership and integrity and specifically fighting corruption. So send your comments and we'll appreciate. Back to you, David.
Yeah. So, I mean, as you were saying, the implications of that amendment are grave. But before we even go to those, you were talking about why they roped in the judiciary to include them among the state officers who should be removed from the list according to Article 260 of the Constitution.
Yes.
You think that that was a smart move in anticipation that somebody will go to court, and so when they go to court, they'll find the court is friendly to the amendment?
I mean, that is, in fact, we have been, even as Transparency International, we have been wondering why the judiciary has not spoken on this. Because they are beneficiaries in this bill. And they need to let Kenyans, it's time enough for them now to come out and let Kenyans know the interest that they have in this bill. Because they are mentioned in this bill, and the implication is so big, and we haven't seen them come out.
The question is, did the judiciary ask also to be exempted from being state officers? That's the question to ask. If they did not,
yes.
If they were co-opted into the list without their desire, then they should be outspoken about it.
That is what we're waiting, and we have not seen this. The bill is in its advanced stages. Now, the fact that the judiciary is not speaking on this, and they have been mentioned as beneficiaries in this bill, I mean, it leaves a lot to I mean, we can speculate that could they have been contacted that we want to include you here? Because if they don't want to be included, then why are they not speaking? And the bill has moved several stages.
The implication is that if this amendment is passed, the judiciary in totality is removed from being subject to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes.
Such that, for example, in the case of the current Sholei saga, the judiciary, the CJ, would not invite the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to come and investigate the management issues there. Is that what it would mean?
That is a strong possibility, because one, the implication of this amendment has a lot of cross-cutting issues that touches on Chapter 6 of the Constitution, leadership and integrity. And the commission or the agency that is responsible for seeing the enforcement of the provisions of Chapter 6 of the Constitution is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Right.
Now, if, for example, and you see the role of Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission in Chapter 6 is the fact that Chapter 6 was I mean, the spirit and the letter of Chapter 6 is to look at the state officers. The moment you remove all this, the list in the proposed amendment, then you are telling the
Chapter
Ethics
6 of the Constitution becomes
null and void.
Null and void.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And you see, if we're talking about a law that deals with public officers, they already have the Public Officers and Ethics Act. Someone would easily refer you that now I am subject to the provisions of Public Officers and Ethics Act and not the provisions of Leadership and Integrity Act or the provisions of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. It's going to be easy. Someone can challenge that.
So if this amendment is passed, it means that, for example, during the elections, when people are seeking office, whether it's county reps, whether it is Parliament, Senate, whether it's National Assembly, Senate, or governors, it means they will not be subject to the Leadership and Integrity Act, so they will not be subject to investigations or approval or certification from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Authority?
That is most likely to be what's going to take place, because now, at the moment you cease to be a state officer, then we will be looking for which law or which provision of the Constitution is applied to you. And then we will be resorting to the Public Officers and Ethics Act, which need to be even reviewed, because the Public Officers and Ethics Act was enacted long before we got our new Constitution. As it is deficient. We need to review it. But now, what we are saying, Makali, is that, for example, maybe I can pose this question. What happens when a women rep elected to Parliament changes her gender? now to be, there is transgender. Changes now to be.
I mean, this case of Audrey
yes.
is known.
There is
public.
transgender.
Yes.
I mean, a woman rape changes her gender to a man after she's been elected into office. What happens? Does she goes, resigns and seek re-election? Is she staying in parliament?